We've got a lot going on this week. We're still in eclipse season. We're moving towards the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries. We've got Neptune moving into Aries. There's a lot going on, and it's all about reclaiming our authentic power, exploring more of our individual spiritual path, and much, much more. This is the weekly transformational opportunities for the week of March 24th to March 30th. I keep changing the name because I'm thinking, what's my intention? My intention is to offer up the weekly astrological weather for the purpose of our Earth School lessons. You know how I often say we're souls having a human experience. What are we learning? What are we growing? How are we evolving? What are we doing? All to move us towards our highest potential. So, first of all, I'm Victoria. I'm your soul guide or your transformational guide. And this is the Soul Nurture channel, a channel dedicated to helping you nurture your precious soul potential towards possibilities. Okay, thanks for being with me. Let's talk about it. First of all, second of all, I've already said first of all, maybe twice. Okay, a lot of energy buzzing right now. We are in Aries season on March 20th. It was the equinox, which with tropical zodiac astrology, which is what I am following, when we arrive at 0 degrees Aries, that is the equinox that sets up our whole zodiacal journey it's a new year based on astrology. And now we're in Aries season. So happy season, my Aries friends, you bold, passionate, bold, and initiating action and leaders, all of you out there. I'd love to just wish you a personal happy birthday, happy solar return, and all that. Let me know your actual birthday in the comments so I could personally welcome you to your new personal year. Okay, personally. How many times am I going to say that? Anyway, I got to focus here because I'm just buzzing with all this excitement of what's happening. I really feel these big shifts happening. First of all, this eclipse, I'm going to talk more about it in a separate video, but we're in the eclipse portal, right? So eclipse season, it's all about getting soul aligned. What are we here to do? What's our destiny? What's our purpose? Where are we off track? It's course correction. It's getting back in alignment. And with this new moon in Aries, it's really getting clear with what we are here to do, what we're here to offer, and what initiating new beginnings with this. So then we have Neptune shifting into Aries as well this week. Man, I really am actually looking forward to that. We've been in Neptune in Pisces for 14 years, and I think it's been a lot of soul searching, a lot of spiritual focus, and really getting into visioning for what's higher and possible. But I think Neptune in Aries is bringing us in alignment with our unique soul essence and contribution. I'll say more about that in a moment. We also have Mars squaring Chiron this week, which is about facing our wounds connected to our identity, wounds of the identity that has limited our being assertive and speaking up for what we want to do and taking action on behalf of what we want to do. Is that speaking to anyone? If I connect with anything that lands in your heart and you're like, oh, she's talking to me, and I hope I am talking to you, put it in the comments. Yes, Victoria, thank you. That's what I've been feeling. I want to back up a step and just say this is my intuitive take on what's happening in the astrological weather. It's a symbolic language that I've learned just to help navigate myself and understand this beautiful gift of life that we've been given. But you are the expert of you, and you knowing your own chart is going to help you even more. And I'm talking about general transits for this weekly thing I'm doing. And tell me what you think about it. I'm adjusting it every week, kind of fine-tuning it, right? But if you know your chart, when I'm talking about the general things, I'm inviting you to what I call soul track. And soul tracking, one part of soul tracking is noticing what's happening with the celestial, movements, the planets, the luminaries, the sun and the moon. Where are they? What are they doing? Who are they talking to and aspect to? What big astrological event is happening? And where is that happening in your chart? But more importantly, how's it feeling for you? What are you noticing? It's not a one size fits all. Like when we talk about eclipse season, it doesn't mean you're going to have sudden and unexpected changes in your life, but you may. And if I talk about, well, Mars square Chiron, it's in general, may mean there may be some a wound that's surfacing regarding how you hold yourself back, or wounds to the identity, but it may not. So you notice and track. This is how our ancient ancestors did it. Oh, wow, when the moon is full, this is what tends to happen. So you want to follow what tends to happen with you. And the more you get to know you, and this is a tool to get to know you and to help you navigate, again, as a soul having a human experience for your highest and greatest possibilities. And again, the focus of this channel is transformation. That's what we're talking here. Okay. So, and it's just, what are you learning and where are you growing, and what needs your attention to transform, to empower. And that's what I do love about this, about watching the cycles unfolding as we do with nature, with astrology. What cycle are you in? Where are you? Are you growing through something big? Are you emerging something new, right? And so with this week, yes, we do have the opportunity to emerge some new things, to reposition more aligned with potential, to look at the wounds and say, I'm healed. I'm no longer being victimized by that experience. I'm rising with my gifts, because your gifts are needed. And that's a big part of my work, one-on-one and in groups, is, find your own soul medicine and rise with your possibilities. Okay, so again, we just moved past the equinox. We are still experiencing Venus and Mercury in retrograde. Venus will be in retrograde until April 12th, and Mercury goes direct, I think, on April 7th. And yes, so just a little bit more about that Neptune entering Aries, and that's March 30th. I'm doing the overview at the beginning for those of you who just want to know the feel of the week, and then I'm going to just quickly go through each day with the transformational invitation for that day, okay? And then stay to the end because I have some announcements. All right, thanks. All right, so Neptune in Aries, this shift after being in Pisces is moving from that collective kind of like fog, dreaminess, visioning, really. We're just in a different dimension, right, with Pisces. And now it's more of like a waking up. This is definitely, I think, waking up. Neptune will be, it's in a sign for about 14 years. So it's 14 years of working with that feeling of Aries. Aries is about initiating new beginnings, new endeavors, taking leadership, being bold, being passionate. And Neptune's all about spirituality. It's about oneness. It's about creativity. And so we're going to be called to step forward and embody our spiritual ideals and take action on behalf of them, right? Okay. And then again, with the new moon, solar eclipse in Aries, it's a lot of Aries energy, right? Aries season, new moon in Aries, Neptune entering Aries. So my Aries friends, you're going to be really empowered, and really, I think also Neptune in Aries is about really connecting to our soul essence, really shedding all the inauthentic. I just did a video about authenticity. Go look at that. Maybe I'll put it in the description for you to watch right after this one. And so, yeah, it's about really being ourselves, our essence, our soul essence, right? And letting everything else dissolve. And Neptune's about dissolving, letting go, releasing. Okay, so how have you been feeling during eclipse season? And what have you been noticing with Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde? I have to tell you the truth. Just as I was setting up here, feeling really comfortable, really good. My computer is buzzing really loud. I'm like, oh, Victoria, did you back up your computer? And I haven't for a while, and I know better, and I need to get on that. And then I knocked my camera, and it crashed to the ground, breaking my ring light. and I stayed calm through the whole thing. But this is the kind of like, I don't know, just a lot of wonky. Uh, if you're not centered and grounded, and today, thank goodness I happen to be, not every day I am, but today I am, I could have flipped out on that. And so this kind of spicy energy, we could be getting frustrated. Aries season is, we could be frustrated if things aren't going the way we want, they're not moving the way we want to move fast, but we've got Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. So it's like, you're preparing to move forward, but there are some things to double check. Slow down. Retrograde, especially with Mercury, always about pausing, double checking, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and then deciding to move forward. Venus retrograde is all about reviewing our sense of self-worth, relationships for sure, how we love, who we love, why we love, the way we love, and what's not working, reviewing all that. I've been doing a few shorts on that. You can check those out too, and do ask any questions, because I love love and I love teaching about love, and I've got a lot of loved experience as well as professional training, and I'm offering it up until April 12th. So what have you been noticing? Have you been put on pause in some ways? Have any ex-boyfriends, ex-lovers come back into the picture? Are you reviewing money, and really noticing where you haven't empowered yourself? Like it's about worthiness. Check where you've been diminishing your power, and if you've been playing small and not knowing your worth. This is what's been kind of up on the Earth School lesson plan, right? Okay, so let's go. What are the transformational opportunities? We're going to be exploring where we've been giving away our power, and also reclaiming our inner authority, our inner autonomy, and also embracing our wounds as the portals for our gifts, and embracing challenges as growth opportunities to really reach and evolve, reach to higher possibilities and evolve from where you were to who you are. I've been noticing your dreams. We're just coming out of this Pisces season, but I'm still having very vivid dreams, and I wonder if you are. And my dreams have been speaking about evolving. It's amazing. Like, I'm just noticing the shift of my it's called dream ego. It's like the you in the dream. That's your dream ego. Noticing that my subconscious mind is getting upgraded, right? And I am not the same person I used to be, and I bet that's the same for you. Let me know what you've noticed about your dream work. Okay, so we're releasing illusions that have kept us trapped in old patterns. This is a constant with transformation. You hear me repeat the same thing over and over again. It's because transformation is very simple and complex. It just requires us to continue to, I call it the ABCs of transformation. Ask before choice. Awareness before choice. That's right. Awareness before choice. I made this up and I can't even remember it. Awareness before choosing. But then you could also ask before choosing. Is this aligned with my authentic self? Is this aligned with who I am becoming and emerging? Or am I still choosing from my wounded self, my disempowered self, right? So those are the ABCs of transformation. And then it's consistently choosing in the direction of who you want to be and where you want to be and how you want to be, right? Okay, so let's get into the daily opportunities, transformational opportunities beginning on Monday, March 24th. And theme this day is about clarity and empowered, authentic. I'm going to say authentic choices because the moon is in Aquarius, my favorite. That means the moon's in my first house. Where is the moon in your chart? Now, I'm going to note where the moon is each day. This is the easiest way to soul track. The moon's in Aries on Monday. Make a note of it in your journal. Come back. Journal about how the day went. Notice that. And then next month when the moon's in Aquarius again, notice that day. Of course, there's other aspects. Aspects are when the planets are talking to each other, and then they create a whole different feeling of that day, right? And a whole different story that's unfolding, right? So astrology, another way to think about it, it's an unfolding story, and and how that story affects our personal unfolding story, right? And also you could think about as an orchestration and like the music or dancing. We're dancing with the unfolding to unfold ourselves, okay? But Moon in Aquarius, do you know anyone who has Moon in Aquarius or anyone who is an Aquarius? Think about what Aquarius is like. Quirky, eccentric, innovative, visionaries, inconsistent because they're always visioning something new, and it's out of the box. They're the rebels, right? So Moon in Aquarius for us all on this day and the next day. Remember, the moon is in a sign for about 2.5 days. Moon in Aquarius is inviting us to think out of the box. We're going to be a little bit more non-attached to emotions and more in our, in a practical, like what makes the most sense, right? And so we're really and wanting to, we don't care what other people think about us when the moon's in Aquarius as much. Try it on, notice it. So on this day, we also have Sun, Mercury conjunction, right? Which is going on for a few days. This is mental clarity. This is articulating what you want to say and wanting to talk more and express more, especially with that moon in Aquarius. You may feel called to express more of your, some ideas you've had that are really way out there. And you're like, I don't know, is anyone going to get this? It doesn't matter. But you want to express it. Maybe you want to create some, write a blog about it, create an action plan about it, and you don't have to justify yourself. So this is our inner work for the day, is letting your freak flag fly, letting yourself just be who you are. Again, go watch the video on authenticity. Ask yourself, are you in your authentic truth? And if not, why not, right? Okay. And so, yeah, and then get clear on how do you want to express? And I would check, where are you keeping your voice measured for fear? And fear is what restricts authenticity. Authenticity, yeah. Okay, so that's Monday. Now Tuesday, March 25th, we are still in a moon in Aquarius, right? But now remember, the moon is moving in degrees, so that may move in your chart, and also aspecting different planets, right? So this day, the moon in Aquarius is about really encouraging being innovative and reclaiming more of your authentic soul potential. I'll come back to this. I'll tell you the rest of the players in this day. Mercury sextile Pluto. This is about deep transformational conversations and getting to the depth of what you haven't been able to articulate, and articulating it, talking about it for transformational purposes, right? Maybe it's something you've hidden and you've got to say it, and in saying it, you free yourself. Freeing is also another word with Aquarius, like freedom. Freedom to be yourself, freedom to express, freedom to tell the story of your greatest fear or shame and feel empowered in doing so, right? I'm thinking of a phrase in recovery, like, we're only as sick as our deepest secrets, right? Is that how it goes? Something like that. If you are in a recovery program, let me know. We're only as sick as our greatest secrets. I think that's how it goes. And so we want to dissolve shame here. We want to say, yeah, I am not that experience. I was somebody growing through that experience, right? And be proud of it. Honor yourself for what you've grown through and who you've become and where you've reclaimed who you are. So this is, soul work on anytime there's Pluto in the picture, and especially with Aquarius, shadow work, right? Now this, I'll talk about golden shadow work, which is really hard to say sometimes, and I totally messed up in a workshop once, and you can guess what I said. Everyone looks stunned. Anyway, and Aquarius energy is also shocking. So I want you to look at the people who kind of shock you, but in a good way. You're like, wow, that person is shockingly herself all the time. Wow, this is an authentic person. The people you admire for their being eccentric, out of the box, that's your soul potential. So when you see somebody exhibiting something that you're at first shocked by, or almost like, wow, maybe even put off a little bit, but then there's something that's like, ooh, wow, what would it be like for me to be like that? In shadow work, there's a phrase we say, you spot it, you got it, but then you got to claim it. What I see in her or him or that situation that really stirs my soul, I claim that back. I reclaim that authenticity in myself, okay? All right, so now Wednesday, March 26th, we're going to soften the edges a little bit. And we're going to swim in more of that, the Pisces energy, because the moon moves into Pisces. So we're really familiar with this by now because we just came out of Pisces season. Neptune's been in Pisces. And this is where that Mars in square to Chiron is. And so, yay, we have some medicine for our wounds, healing waters we're swimming in. So we can heal anything that's prevented us from being ourselves, stepping into the vision we hold for ourselves. So in after Aquarius moon back to Pisces, we're back to emotional connection. We're feeling compassion for ourselves and for others. I love moon in Pisces. We're feeling like, how can we make peace? How can we go back into unity? How can we see life through the lens of like poetry? I was listening to, I think it was Francis Weller, a grief specialist, and I think it was him that he said, it's not just about poetry, it's about becoming the poem. And I just love that. And I think moon in Pisces, we become the poem. We become the compassionate, romantic, swimming with higher possibilities towards healing, right? So again, that Mars square Chiron, there could be some wounds triggered around yourself, your self-worth, courage, self-assertion. And that's where you put your hand on your heart and you say, I feel those old wounds, and I didn't have the power of choice when that happened. I do now. And not only do you have the power of choice, you have the power of your own compassion. Let the power and healing of your own compassion just immerse and just be medicine for your body, your mind, and your soul. Okay? All right. And also notice where you have any resistance to showing up for yourself, standing up, speaking up. I know that this is a time for us to be called to speak up for injustice, for what is hurting our heart, and seeing where other people are harmed. That's when I get like empowered. When I see anybody hurt, I may not in the past have spoken up for myself when I've been hurt. I am now more, but not as much as I do when I see somebody else being hurt. There's no filter, there's no pause, it's go. So feel that for yourself too. Become your best champion, protector, healer for you, okay? All right, let's see. Thursday. Oh, and just one last note. This is a tender day, so you may feel more vulnerable, but let that protector in you. Remember Aries season. This is where we get to claim the warrior, to be the warrior for yourself, for your potential, and for others, okay? All right, and then just watch, because I think now we're shifting from, and I've talked about this a lot in a lot of my videos, out of sacrificing yourself into service. So it's no longer sacrificing, but of being of service, okay? Ask any questions and I'll answer them as well. All right, Thursday, March 27th. This moon is still in Pisces. Again, track that. How have you been feeling with Pisces? Are you feeling more tender, more sensitive, more romantic? Are you having more vivid dreams, right? Are you writing poetry? Are you listening to music that just, soothes your soul? This is a day for dissolving illusions in love because we have Venus conjunct Neptune. Hopefully we're dissolving, because it could go the other way. We could be like disoriented about like seeing we say don't fall in love with potential. You want to fall in love with the soul, but you also want to fall in love with reality, right? Venus conjunct Neptune can distort reality. We could be projecting our ideal onto the person and we're not seeing people clearly. So this is where you ground, you maybe say a prayer, show me what I need to see, with an open heart. Now, I think it's important. I want to say we don't want to, compassion's a beautiful gift, and there's going to be a lot flowing on Thursday. But don't give away your compassion. Don't step over yourself to give away your compassion. In other words, you're compassionate with, say you're in a relationship or you're dating and you're like, oh, there's so many things here that are red flags, but oh, I just feel so much for this person. And we go into the, especially as women, oh, I love a good fixer-upper, and I can just do a good remodel here, and I see their wounds, and I can heal their wounds. Okay, number one, when you're considering a romantic partner, you're not their therapist, you're not their fixer, you're not the remodeling team. You want to turnkey move in, let's start this relationship. So have compassion for yourself, compassion that you're not going to take on an assignment to help somebody else. That's their job, right? So yeah, I think we could have a little distortion there, but come back to groundedness and ask for guidance on this day. Pray for guidance, okay? And also reflect on where you may be in illusion or fantasy in a relationship. Like, again, what I was just saying, like you're seeing through rose-colored glasses and you're not seeing reality. I've got a few videos on relationships. I'll maybe put one of those in the link, but you want to have a list of what are the qualifications for your partner. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. I have a short on this too about, you deserve what you're worthy of, but make a list of what your must-haves are in relationship and look at the list, black and white, it's on the paper. I want somebody who is healthy and is doing their own inner work. Is that person that person? Okay, just clarity. You need something like a touchstone and reality to get clear. Okay, all right. Because we want to stay away from romantic idealism and be clear. Okay, all right. Friday, March 28th, Moon moves into Aries, and this is where grounding those dreams. We might have been like, oh, I wish that he was that, and if he's not, you ground it into, I'm worthy of what I desire. I'm worthy of what I projected onto that person, and I'm going to become that person so I can attract that person, right? So the Moon in Aries ignites that desire for action, for being bold in who you are, being the leader of your own life. And with that Venus Neptune energy still, permeating the air, we're balancing between, again, the fantasy and what it takes to make our dreams and vision reality. Okay, so anchor in your dreams, connect to your vision. Again, Reverend Michael Beckwith, I always quote him, was my teacher. Who do I need to become in order to have the thing I desire, or to be in a relationship that I desire that will really work in real time, not fantasy land? Okay, all right. So you may feel a surge of motivation and a deeper connection to your true desires, your soul desires. Okay, and you have the ability to make them happen. Saturday, March 29th, this is the new moon solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. Again, I'm going to do a longer video on that. I'm really struck by, there's been about 6, maybe 7, I'm not 100% certain, but new moons back to back in a row at 9 degrees, which is the degree, 9 is the number in numerology of completion. We've gone through all the experiences. We are now complete. We can have closure. We can release. So isn't that curious that it's on a new moon, completion on a new moon, and it's an eclipse. What's been eclipsing our potential, our possibilities, and where do we need to break free from some of those old repeating patterns? Now, this is eclipse, even though the North Node is now in Pisces, this eclipse is the last one that's connected to the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, which means we're doing a final look at what we learned while the North Node was in Aries and South Node in Libra. And it was, if you remember, watched any of my old videos about issues with codependency, people pleasing, and it's about breaking free from that and stepping into your authentic power, right? I know those deep unconscious patterns of, believe me, I'm a recovering people pleaser, and they're just so deep because they're so wired into how we got our needs met, how we survived, right? So it's about releasing, even though it's a new moon where we set intention, it's releasing what's in the way of what you desire, okay? So you're setting intentions around reclaiming your autonomy, honoring who you are. Like, wow, if you honor who you are, not in a you know, egotistic or narcissistic way, but in a, wow, God created me to be this unique person and I'm going to rock that, right? And then step boldly in your power and what you have to offer and be yourself. I work with a lot of young women, I was a young woman, and I'm still, unfolding that part of me, or that being of being myself. The more you learn to just be yourself, so when you fall in love with someone, they're falling in love with who you truly are, and you're not pretending to be someone to fall in love. Being yourself and being loved and valued and honored for who you really are is the greatest gift of all. And I wish that for you. I truly do. Okay, so follow that surge of courage to embrace the new beginnings, those old wounds surfacing. So you could say, I'm gonna let go of the wound, the victimization of that. I'm gonna rise with my power, my gifts, and my purpose. Okay. All right, last day, Sunday, March 30th. The moon is going to move into grounding Taurus. Again, make a note of it. What does it feel like when you notice, like from Aries to moon in Taurus? And this is about, Taurus is like embodiment, worthiness, grounding in your vision, your dreams, your desires for a relationship, for being able to be in your self-worth and teach people to meet you there. And it's also about money and practical matters of life and all the good stuff too. Moon in Taurus is like, you might want to make a really good home cooked meal, all your favorite foods and comforts. Moon in Taurus is about sensuality and just all the things of earth that are just so yummy. So I'm going to ground that fiery eclipse energy that we just moved through the day after. Well, it continues. They say with new moons, full moons, it's about 3 days and before and after to be in the potential of that. But with eclipses, these have long shelf lives, right? Weeks ahead, weeks after, and then they're connected, like, to when the new moon was, when the moon was in Aries last, and when there's all these. Maybe I'll speak more about that in the new moon video. There's this like history of information that's web. It's like a web of the eclipse possibilities. So we're moving the next day. We're moving into grounded Taurus, but we're still in the eclipse potential. That's a short way to say what I just said that didn't need to be said. A lot of times when I'm speaking here, I've got to like externalize it. I'm an external processor so that I could get the crispness of the point. So thanks for being with me and listening. Okay. On a side note, I don't know if you have to have a subscription, but with YouTube, you could ask AI to bullet point, like what are the key points that Victoria wants to share, and it'll bullet point them for you, save you some time watching the video. Although I hope you do watch the whole video, because when you watch an entire video and then you watch another video, you help the algorithm, you help me get out to other people who may be helped by what I'm offering here. So and that way you're supporting me and supporting others, and I appreciate that. Subscribe, like, share videos, watch one or videos back to back. That will help me. Thank you in advance. Okay, so this is a time on this day to just reflect on where you're being called to take inspired action. You want to be courageous. You want to say, I love that quote, if not now, then when? If not you, then who? If not now, then when? If not you, then who? And just tag, you're it. Step forward. You're it. You're the leader of your life. You're the star of your movie unfolding. You get to decide and take the courageous actions, okay? But do it in a grounded way. That moon in Taurus, a sense of grounding down the intensity and rooting in what you desire to grow the potential. And you may also notice a renewed sense of purpose and self-worth, and that's, I believe, is possible. And as I wrap up, I just want to say what I wish for you for this week. This week may illuminate places where you've been holding yourself back. I talk a lot about that. So I wish for you the courage to release those limiting patterns, the limiting story, the, if you're going to break up with something, break up with believing you're not worthy, and empower yourself, empower your worthiness. You are worthy of all you desire. That seems to be the theme for this week. You're worthy of all you desire. You just have to rise to that and meet that. So, also, create an action plan towards what life you want to co-create. What do you want to do? What do you need to release in order to create it? So that's it. I hope that something in this video really just landed in your heart and just sprouted, and you're going to blossom with some ideas that were shared here. I think that's the whole goal of why we're here, to heal, to reclaim, and to blossom and bloom into the potential of our lives and the potential that Creator put within us. I want to remind you that I'm available to support you on your unfolding journey of transformation and reclaiming. So you can book a session for deeper guidance, and my website is in the description box. I'm still doing, or I started doing, these introductory women's circles. The next one I'm offering in April, I haven't put the date down yet. I'm going to look for that. But the focus of that women's circle is going to be about dream work. I love dream work. So we're going to be talking about dreams. Go in the description box, put your name if you haven't already. I'm going to change it. It currently says waitlist. It's just I'm interested. Let me in. I want in that circle. Okay. And next time we're going to be talking about dreams and doing some dream work. Okay. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Share it with friends if you feel like they may be supported by it. And ask any questions that you may have. I'm happy to help and support you. That's my soul mission. Okay. We can walk this path of reclaiming soul potential and nurturing soul potential and empowering and rising up with our unique and beautiful contributions. So thank you for being with me, and I will see you next time.